get to hang out here with you, but I'm also going to be at the Wetaskiwin Farmers Market this afternoon with TSL Organic Spices and Spice Blends. So I'm excited to take that and be able to share it with the community. So if you are in Central Alberta and you want to stock your spice cupboards with something that is nutritious and delicious and has no fillers, no grains, is gluten-free, yeah, come and see me. Come and see all of us at the Wetaskiwin Farmers Market. Okay, now we are going to do something new today that we haven't done before. And this is going to be lots of fun. So I have a little bit of it done already, and I will show you that in a minute. But for right now, let's get started with step one. If I can, there we go. Just have to find my space here, that's all. All right, here we go. There we go. Now you can see my counter here, all cluttered with stuff. Okay, we are going to use macadamia nut milk. Now, I know that isn't something that we've used here before. It is something that we're going to have some fun with today, and this is delicious. Now, one of the ingredients in here is chia seeds. And chia seeds, I'm going to recommend that you put them in your blender or your spice grinder or whatever you have to grind them. And the reason for that is chia seeds, especially if you're taking something like this for work or you're taking it home to school, or take it home to school. How about that? You like that? If you're taking it to school or taking it to work, you don't want chia seeds to get stuck in your teeth. And if you have any dental work, you don't want them to get stuck in your dental work, in your bridge or your false teeth, or yeah, anything like that. So to avoid that, we're going to do this. Now, I just put 1/3 of a cup of chia seeds into my spice blender. Now, you know, when at an event, when they say make some noise, this isn't what they're talking about, but let's make some noise. Now, I don't know if you can hear me over this, but that is all the time that it takes. Now, I'm not going to dump this in the bowl right away. I am going to show you what we've done here, though. So that is what our chia seeds look like now. Not what they looked like before. Okay, so we're going to set this aside a minute, and the reason that we are going to set it aside is because you want to sprinkle the chia seeds in and whisk them in. If you put the chia seeds in the bowl and you pour the liquid on top, you get clumps, which you can rectify with an immersion blender. That isn't a big deal, but if you don't have to do it, why bother? Okay. So we are, now that is 50 grams of chia seeds that I just put through there. And we are going to add 1 cup or 250 mils of macadamia nut milk. Now, I gotta tell you guys, they say on the packaging for this, it says moo is moot. And they're really not kidding. This really tastes very similar to milk. I'm really quite surprised. And I've been using it in my coffee, and that is also a wonderful treat. So if you like cream in your coffee and you want to try something a little bit different, let's do that. So, and this macadamia nut milk, now I will tell you, it is not organic. So there's that. But it is lovely, and it's a nice change. Now, I am going to add to our macadamia nut milk 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla powder. Now, if you don't have vanilla powder, and I know a lot of you won't, use a teaspoon of vanilla, liquid vanilla. But I want to use my vanilla powder today. Now, we are going to just get a wee little whisk for the moment. Oh, and look at that vanilla in there. You can see the beautiful vanilla flecks. We're going to kind of lose that look because we're going to be adding the chia seeds in there. And I'm thinking I maybe should have grabbed a bigger whisk for this, but it is what it is, what it is. Okay, now we are just going to sprinkle this in here, and we're going to whisk it in a wee bit at a time. Now these chia seeds, you've got to remember, these chia seeds absorb liquid, and they do it quite quickly. So this isn't going to take all that long to get this ready. Okay. And we are almost done with our chia seeds. And you can see we've totally lost the vanilla, but the aroma from that vanilla is amazing. So if you have a chance to buy some vanilla powder, I really highly recommend it. Now, I'm just dumping the rest of this in here because I think we have enough in there that it is not going to clump, and I am right, it is not clumping. Yay! Okay. Now, what we do not have in here is any sweetener. And if you want a pudding, you want it to be sweet. So what we are going to do now, today I'm going to do something a little bit different with you. You can, okay, get this, I'm just going to get this last little bit of chia seed out of here. Now you can use 40 grams of erythritol or whatever flavor or however much you like, sweeten to taste. Pardon me. So sweeten to taste. And if you don't want erythritol, now this is our vanilla layer. So I am going to use, if I can find my measuring cup that I just had, well, we'll use this one. I'm going to use about 1/4 cup of Da Vinci vanilla syrup. Now this is our vanilla layer, so I'm going to use the vanilla syrup. If you want to use something else, go for it. Now, do you still need the vanilla in here? I think you do, because it gives you that honest vanilla flavor. Now, this is not something that I would ever take to a market, and it isn't something that I would usually do, quite honestly, because Da Vinci is definitely not organic, but it is delicious. So in the top layer, I have Da Vinci vanilla syrup. Okay, now let's just set that aside. Now in the next layer, now I've still got some chia seed in here, and I hate wasting things. And too many things go to waste. So I am just going to whip that up a wee bit more and get that in there. And you see how nice and smooth this is. If you pour the chia seeds in first and then you pour anything on top of it, you just get one great big clumpy block of chia seeds. Okay, now, next step. So we have our vanilla layer. We're going to set that aside. And we have our coffee layer. Now, firstly, let's make sure that we've got enough sweetener in here. We can always add more if we don't. Nope. That is very nice. Now, let's check this one. I'm going to tell you guys about this one. This one is lots of fun too. That does not have enough sweetener in it. Now, I put the same amount of sweetener in both, but this one is twice the size. So, in this one, I am using, because this is a coffee layer, and so for this one, I'm using a Da Vinci coffee liqueur sweetener, so no alcohol in it. There's none. A little too early in the day for that. Okay, now we have this nice and smooth already. Now this is 100 grams of chia seed. And we put the 100 grams, excuse me, pardon me, we put the 100 grams through our spice grinder again, and that leaves it nice and smooth for anybody who has dental work that they need to worry about. Now to this, we added 1.5 cups of coffee. Now this is just part of my pot of coffee for the morning, but to that coffee, we added a tablespoon of instant coffee. So it gives you that nice espresso kind of extra coffee. Now, I am going to test this one more time. So this has 1/2 cup of Da Vinci coffee liqueur, sugar-free. That is lovely. Now, the two of these together are wonderful, and you do them in layers. And the nicest way to do this in layers is to do it in a jar. So you just use a 250 milliliter jar, and I just made a mess down the side. That's awesome. But that's okay. We will fix that with this. Now we want the layers to really show up beautifully. I did not add any vanilla of any kind to this because the coffee has got this beautiful flavor. Now adjust your coffee to taste. You know, some people have very sensitive palates and they can have a milder flavor. Other people do not have palates that are as sensitive, or they like flavors that are more intense. And I am one of those people that likes intensity in the flavors. Now we're going to fill this one 2/3 full. 2/3-ish? Is that 2/3? We're getting there. Yep, thereabouts. Now, after we get this 2/3 full, we're just going to clean the edges of that. Taste test. Oh yeah. Yep, that is good. And then we are going to put the vanilla on top. Now look at how quickly that has just absorbed all of that liquid that we put in there. It is beautiful, and it is going to be delicious. Now we're putting 1/3 of the vanilla on top. And there isn't a lot of difference in the color, but there is a tremendous difference in the flavor. I'll show you. You can see there is some difference in the color, so you're definitely going to notice that. And pop this in the fridge. You're going to pop it in the fridge for hopefully about an hour. Now this one is mine. So we're just going to do a quick taste test. Now I got to tell you, I had planned on doing the coffee part of it with you as well. So I'm going to give you the recipe for this. I was a little bit late getting started this morning because when I went to get this bottle out of my cupboard, I dropped it right on my big toe. So we'll see how long that toenail lasts. I don't know. This is really yummy. So this is 100 grams of ground chia seeds, 560 milliliters of macadamia nut milk, where we only had 250 milliliters in there, 175 milliliters of strong coffee. And so I just took coffee out of my coffee pot and added a tablespoon of instant coffee to it. So then you have this beautiful espresso. We've got about 1/2 cup or 125 mils of Da Vinci coffee liqueur syrup in the coffee part of it. And if you want to really give some difference in color and add a little bit of a chocolatey flavor, so you have that coffee cafe mocha, you can add a tablespoon of cocoa powder or cacao, whichever one you have. Now, if you're going to do that, this is so important. I cannot tell you enough. Make sure that you mix the dry ingredients. If you want to use 50 grams of powdered erythritol instead of the Da Vinci syrup, that absolutely works. But make sure you mix your chia seeds and your powdered sweetener and any cacao that you're using. Mix those all together and sprinkle it into the liquid. Always add the dry into the liquid with this, otherwise you end up with a clumpy mess. But as it stands right now, I am ending up with this beautiful gelatinous chia seed pudding. Now you can add some raspberries on top of this. You can add something a little bit acidic on this, would be lovely. Now, I also want to talk to you a little bit about why people should do keto. Now, I know we've talked about all kinds of things, but I was in a local business yesterday, and I heard a young person, early 20s, maybe mid 20s at the most, talking about how their lower back was hurting, and talking about how much their knees hurt. And so this young person said, you know, you work a couple of years on the oil rigs and you're just a mess afterwards. And so my back hurts and my knees hurt. And he was not not whining. I mean, he was just making a statement. That is so good. So why do we do keto? Well, definitely all of the things that we've talked about before, type 2 diabetes and heart disease and high blood pressure, and all of the things that you can reverse or mitigate the damage from. If it's arthritis that you're talking about, you can't necessarily reverse that, but you can stop it from getting worse. Okay, but something more than that. If you are eating a carb-heavy diet, you have inflammation in your body. You just do. That is what carbohydrates do. They cause inflammation. So, if you can get away from those carbs and eat a ketogenic diet, live a ketogenic lifestyle, one of the very first things that happened for me that just blew my mind was my lower back issues that I had struggled with for years. And I just thought it was from too many years of driving truck, and it was something I was going to have to deal with for the rest of my life. In less than a week, the pain was gone. It was gone, totally gone. And I went from taking 6 to 8 extra strength Advil every day, just to get through the day I was taking that many. And I went from that to taking nothing at all. I would go to stand up and I would be grunting and like this and having to straighten up, and I went from that to being able to do squats with no pain. And it isn't that there's no pain every single day. Some days there is. And I've been having a little bit of an issue with my hip lately, so I started taking some extra collagen, and it's helping. That and a couple trips to the chiropractor. But the point is this. If you have pain in your joints, in your back, in your knees, in your hips, wherever it is that you have pain, you can go and grab a bottle of Advil. You can go to your doctor and you can ask for medication to help with the pain or to help with the inflammation. Or you can stop eating foods that are causing inflammation in your body. You're not going to get rid of all of it. Your body will create inflammation when you need inflammation because it protects an injured site. But it's not always about an injury. Sometimes it's just about the diet that you're eating. So if you are eating a carb-rich diet and you're enjoying all kinds of healthy whole grains in whole wheat bread and whole wheat pasta and, I am here to tell you there is no such thing as a healthy whole grain. And I don't care if it's organic, and I don't care how many times it's been ground. If you are eating carbohydrates, so not just grains, but sugar as well, or you are eating processed seed oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, corn oil. First of all, vegetables do not have oil. There are some fruits that do, olives and avocados, they have oil. Coconut, they have oil. Broccoli, not so much. So when you're buying something called vegetable oil, it's false advertising. It's not coming from vegetables. It is coming from plants, and it is highly processed and absolutely horrible for you, but it is your choice. So get rid of the grains, get rid of the sugar, get rid of the starches, and try eating like that for a little while. 30 days. Give yourself 30 days. And send me a message and let me know what happens. Because for me, the difference it made happened in less than a week. Now, it doesn't happen for everyone that fast, but it definitely does happen. So, if you are dealing with inflammation in your body, you're dealing with a sore back, you're dealing with sore hips or knees or whatever it is, you're dealing with arthritis, you're dealing with something that is causing you physical pain, try this. And do not let anybody sell you all kinds of lotions and potions and pills that say this is how you do keto. It is not. Keto is about eliminating carbohydrates. It's about embracing healthy fat. And healthy fat comes from avocados. It comes from olives. It comes from coconuts. It comes from bacon. Yes, bacon. You leave the skin on the chicken. You don't trim every little spot of fat off your steak. It's about eating healthy fat and moderate amounts of protein and very, very, very low carbohydrates. And anybody that tells you that it's not sustainable or it's going to do damage to your kidneys or your liver, they are people who don't know what they're talking about, because science has proven that none of those things are true. It is sustainable. You can do it for the rest of your life, and it absolutely is going to benefit your health in more ways than any of us can even imagine. So that's it for me for now. I hope you try this chia pudding. Add a little bit of acid to it. It will be absolutely delicious. Some raspberries in here. Yeah, it would be lovely. Little bit of lemon would be delicious in there as well. And it's going to help cleanse your palate. So until I see you on Friday at noon, I hope that you have a wonderful week and you do your very best to live your best version of this shining life. That's what I'm going to do.